Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this marketing automation presentation. This is about integration with Marketpath CMS and Zapier. My name is Matt Zentz. I'm the founder and CEO of Marketpath, and I'm going to be walking you through this integration that we've set up. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can reach me at Matt Zentz. So I'm not going to get into a big discussion about what is marketing automation, but we're going to walk through it very, very briefly. So the idea here is, here's kind of a definition, is it's the technology to automatically manage marketing processes and campaigns across various audiences and channels. So what does that mean? That basically means that you are automating, you're enhancing, and you're personalizing the customer journey. Now, the customer journey is comprised of all sorts of different pieces. And one of the ways that people look at it from an automation standpoint is that automation resides in the middle part of between two bookends. So if you look at it, all of the journey of the customer, reaching them, actions, conversions, engagement, all happens right there in the middle. And that's the part that, from an automation standpoint, that we try to automate, I suppose, like a better word there. Now, let's talk about the bookends. Before you do any kind of automation, it helps to understand what the bookends are. So the very first bookend over here on the left is going to be your target audience and the goals and objectives that you have with them. Before you do any of the middle stuff, you have to understand and know what that is. And the stuff all the way on the right side is your goals as a company. What are you trying to get your customers to do? And ultimately, that is, in most cases, making a little bit of revenue off of it. So once you determine what those goals are and what those objectives are, then you can start thinking about what's in the middle. This customer lifecycle is part of the lifecycle marketing model. If you're interested in learning more, you can just type in lifecycle marketing model in Google, and it's going to present you with all sorts of interesting things. That's sort of where these different phases came from, if you're interested in learning about more. Now, so today I'm talking about the automation capabilities with Marketpath CMS in Zapier. And automation is comprised of triggers and actions. So the triggers are the events that take place, such as a form submission, or such as a new tweet, or any types of events along those lines. And then the actions are what you do with that information. Do you send it to a CRM? Do you send it to another social media management tool? Really, the sky is the limit on what you do with the data. And it all depends on that customer journey and how you want to manage that. Marketpath CMS consists of two types of triggers. So we have form submissions. Anytime that a customer on your site submits a form, then you can capture that and then do whatever you want with that data in Zapier. And the other trigger is a publish action. So anytime you publish content on your site, whether it be a blog post, a calendar event, or any other bit of content, you can do something with that data and push it to different channels, and we'll walk through some of those examples. Now, the actions that we have are basically sending it to Zapier. So when one of those triggers takes place, we contact Zapier, and Zapier is where all of the actions, triggers and actions are set up to be handled. So we basically just send it out to Zapier, and then you can connect up with 1,500 additional applications out there and do whatever you need to do with the data. It's kind of a four-step process to get things set up in Marketpath CMS. Again, I'm going to walk through this here in just a minute, but just a high-level overview here is that you have you have to create your Zapier account, of course, and then you have to accept an invite right now, because our integration with them is, according to Zapier, is technically in dev mode, but you have to reach a certain number of users before it gets out of that mode. So you have to go to the invite to accept it and have access to it. Trust me, it's in a production state, so we have tested and vetted it, and it's a good solid state. So that's just sort of a thing with Zapier. Then you have to create your API user in Marketpath CMS so that Zapier can communicate with your site. And then, of course, after that, you set up your first app. Now, 4 steps makes it sound really easy. There's actually quite a few more than that, but that's just sort of the high-level overview of what you have to do. You got to have a Zapier account. You have to use the invite code for now, and you have to create the API user and then work on your Zap, which the Zap is what Zapier calls their automation packages. Okay, so we're going to walk through a simple example here. This is a form submission, and at the end of the form submission, we're going to send a thank you email. So let me jump out of this mode here, and I'm going to first, I already have my Zapier account created over here, and let's see here. Give me just a minute. Been told I'm crackling, so if the audio is a little bit messed up, then I apologize. So I already have my Zapier account created, and so what now I'm going to need to do is create my API user. And the reason you have to do that is once you accept the invite, let's go ahead and do that. Marketpath.com automation invite. That's going to bring you to this screen. So remember that URL. I'm going to go back real quick just so you can see that. Where is my presentation? Here we go. That is right here. This URL, marketpath.com/automation-invite. It's an easier way than typing in this long URL up here. So once you go here, you click accept and build a Zap. And that's basically going to give you access to the Marketpath CMS application. All right, so let me go back here to Marketpath CMS. This is an important step. I need to go to site. So this is a site that I set up, automation demo. I'm going to go to site settings here, and I'm going to create an API user. Creating an API user gives Zapier access to this particular site. API users are unique to every single site, so you can't have one that crosses multiple sites. They're unique to each site. So I'm going to click New, and you're going to get this pop-up that gives you this different information. So I'm going to copy this. Don't close this, because as soon as you close it, you won't be able to see the token again. So it's a one-time view. So make sure that you have it saved. So now I'm going to go to Zapier, and I'm going to go to my apps. And I'm going to create a new account. And you're going to see Marketpath CMS. Don't choose a staging one. That's not going to do you any good. So you want Marketpath CMS. And now it asks me for my credentials here. So I'm going to paste in these credentials. Let me go back to this. And pop up. There we go. Hit continue. And see, I already have several different accounts in here, but I'm going to label this one right here, automation demo. So that way I know when I go to select it. So these are different sites that I have within the system. Now I have my connection to Marketpath CMS in here. So now I'm going to make a Zap. And I guess before we go here, I'm going to jump over here. Let's close this. I do have one form in this. I have several forms, but this form I'm going to use as the contact us form. And that is on the contact page. You can see it right here. So I'm going to set it up so that when somebody submits this, it's going to send them a thank you email. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to build our first Zap, Marketpath CMS. New form submission is the trigger. Remember, we talked about the triggers. And then I'm going to choose the automation demo that I just set up. That's the account that I just added. And then I'm going to click here and I'm going to select the contact us form. When you do this, it's going to pull in the fields for that contact form. If you add fields to this form after the fact, I found that Zapier is a little bit finicky with pulling in the new fields, even if you hit refresh fields. So I remember in one case I had to actually delete my Zap and start from scratch. So you just walk through the process, hit test and continue. And now, so that's the trigger. So now it's asking us to do an action. And so what we're going to do is send mail. And I'm just going to send through Gmail from my own account because I already have that set up in here. But you can actually, if you go back, you can, Zapier has their own email tool that you can use just for sending out emails, or you could use another tool. But I'm going to use Gmail just to keep it simple. I'm going to send an email, select my account, and then now I have to set up some of the fields. So when I click this button, it's going to insert a field from the form. So you have to kind of scroll. There's a lot of different fields in here, but when you go down it, you see this long kind of ugly field name here, and it says email address. That's the email address that the form is collecting. You can also blind carbon copy yourself if you'd like to. Excuse me. So I'm selecting my from email. I could set that to something else if I wanted to, or I could set up a reply to. I could change the from name to marketing. Thank you for contacting us. Now I have a choice of setting up a plain body or an HTML body. If you do HTML, you actually have to type in the HTML. There is no friendly WYSIWYG editor to do that for you. So I'm just going to choose this. I'm going to say hi. I'm going to insert the first name field. Hi, whatever. Thank you for contacting us. Oops. Spell. So very simple message. I could choose to add in what the individual said if I wanted to. Add a simple line, and then I could go in here and select the form, the comments form, and that could just append to the bottom just so they have a record of it if they wanted. A few other options that you can do, and I'm going to hit continue. Now this is the interesting part, and this is a kind of a thing with Zapier. So you have to test it before you do anything. So I'm going to hit test and continue, but that test is going to fail because the email address is some weird code, and the code refers to the form field. So not sure what to do about that, so I just skip the test. And then I'm done editing. And now I turn the Zap on. I'm going to name this Zap. Let's see. Automation demo form submit to email. Okay, so now my Zap is on. Depending on the account that you have, just so you're aware, it could take several minutes before your Zap gets processed. It seems to work pretty quick on my account. I have the $20 account, I think is what it is, or 25, and it works pretty easily or pretty quickly. So let's go back to this form. Send it to myself. Just hope you're having a great day. Definitely not a robot. And now I'm going to send here. So I'm going to wait just a minute before I jump back to Zapier. And I'm going to show you something over here. I just created my first Zap. So I can go into site settings. No, I'm sorry. You need to go to automation. site and then automation. You notice now that we have what we call an atom. This is an automaton is the long name for it. We just call it atom for short. You can actually click on this and you could say form submission to email Zapier, or you could give it some other name and just save it. And as soon as you jump in here, you'll be able to hit logs too. So let's check this out. Complete. Look, so it shows the one I just sent was complete. Now I can also go back here to this. Let's go to the Zap I just created, automation demo. And then you can look over here on the task history to see if it completed successfully. And if it did not complete successfully, you can actually click on it and see all sorts of information. And hopefully it gives you a good usable error as to why it failed if it did. So here's the data. Hi, Matt. Thank you for contacting us. We will be in touch shortly. This is just a test. Hope you're having a great day. If I go to my email, see that load up in here. Here we go. Hi, Matt. Thank you for contacting. It's very simple, but it's a nice touch. It actually extends the conversation with the customer. It gives them some acknowledgement that you received their form. So that's a really nice addition. Okay, so the next task here, so that was form submission to an email. Next one we're going to do is add a lead to Salesforce. This one is pretty helpful as well. And the idea here is if you don't have a full customer journey defined, but you do have some of these small pieces, then it helps to this helps from an efficiency standpoint. This helps you achieve things without having to do them all yourself. So they're nice touches to continue that journey. All right, so here is the other Zap that I just created. I'm going to create a new one. I could actually add on to this one if I wanted to. I could add an additional action. Depending on the plan that you have with Zapier, you can click on this and I could do conditionals in here. I can have additional actions. So, but I'm going to create a new Zap to walk through it again. I'm going to call this one automation demo form submit to Salesforce feed. It's my app, selecting Marketpath again, new form submission, continue. Oh, gotta select my account. Automation demo is the account that I want. I'm gonna keep the contact us form. Test and continue. And then we're going to hit Salesforce. Now there's two options here. This one is actually fairly new because I was using this old one. Gives you a lot more options. So now I've chosen Salesforce as my action. So now I'm going to choose the event. I'm going to create a record. And it's going to ask me what account. I already have that set up. Oh, well, isn't that fun? Let's see. I just used this, so. Okay, so we re-credentialized, if that's a word. Now I'm going to go down here and I'm just going to, I'm going to type in lead. That's what I want to do. Fill in the last name. Choose that last name form field. First name, choose the first name field, and then I'm going to go way down here. Company, I actually don't have a company, so since I didn't capture that information. There's a whole bunch of other fields that you can fill in too. I do have an email, so I'm going to capture that. Oh, whoops, there it is. Email address. And then the last one I think I have to set up is type. This is we'll just call it Pro Services Prospect. So continue, test and continue. probably will fail again. First name is too long. We're going to skip the test. And we're going to turn this baby on. All right, so let's go back to our contact form. Joe Schmo, Joe at marketpath.com. I'm ready to buy. Wish they all said that, right? Okay, so filled that out. Let's see, that was ready. That's on, ready to go. Now we're going to submit. And give it a little bit of time. You can see that I refresh this. Now I have another one. I can name this form submission to Salesforce lead. Take a look at logs. Looks like it already processed. And we're going to jump into Salesforce real quick. And now you can see Joe Schmo. There he is. Joe Schmo in all his glory. No company. Pretty easy. Okay, so that was the Salesforce lead. The next one is creating a new MailChimp contact. Let us go to here. And this time I'm just going to piggyback. I'm going to turn off my Salesforce one. And I'm going to piggyback on my initial one. It's going to send an email and it's going to create a MailChimp contact. So add or update subscriber. That's what I want to do. Have my account. And let's see, audience. I just have one audience. Subscriber email. Let's see, form submission in Marketpath CMS. I'm going to go down here to email address. There it is. Then I'm going to fill in first name. So you notice that we have two options to select from now because we had this and then we had an action where we sent an email. So there's data associated with both that we could potentially pull from. And that's all I have right there. So I'm going to populate that. Test and continue will fail because it's using the fields. Uh-oh. Didn't like that. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm skipping the test. One day I might figure out why it's doing that. But for now, that is what we do. Okay, so let me go. Now I have that MailChimp piece in there. And I'm going to fill out this form again. Sam Sneed, Sammy the Sneed at marketpath.com. Legendary old school golfer. All right, submit away. Should see this. If we go to Zapier and look at this, we should see a task history for Sam Sneed popping up in there. Look, oh, look, see, look, you got Marketpath trigger, Gmail action, MailChimp action. And it shows that everything succeeded. So now, if I go to my subscribers here, I should have 4. Now I have 4, and I can view my contacts. You can see that Sammy the Sneed popped up in there. Right. So those are the form submission ones. There's a lot that you can do with that, but those are the simple examples that I wanted to set up and show you. So the next one is publishing. So I'm going to publish a blog post, and I want to post it to Twitter. I have this very fancy account that has 0 followers and following 0 set up. Marketpath demo. Don't follow it. We don't post anything exciting at all. So let's see. We want to go to automation, and I want to create a new Zap. And of course, this is CMS. I'm going to select a new publish. Instead of new form submission, I want a new publish action. Then I get to choose the account again, automation demo. And this one is notify on new items only. I would recommend this, so especially if you're posting to a social channel. You don't want to, every time you publish, if you go in and make a change or edit or find something wrong with it and you publish it again, it's gonna keep sending it out. So make sure yes is checked. That is the default. So I'm gonna monitor blog posts. So you can choose different types here. You know, if I post a new calendar entry, you know, you can send that out somewhere. But we're gonna monitor blog posts. I'm gonna hit continue. Whoop. Simple things. Probably should have set up my phone so it didn't ring. Oh, here we go. Do not disturb. I got it. Okay, so the next one is we are sending this to Twitter. Right here. Create a tweet. Continue. Select my account. MP Demo 1. You'll be very impressed, of course. Now I'm going to add the URL. So this is taking the data from a blog post. And I go down here to URL. Click that. But what I need to add is the domain on the front of it. So actually, what is my domain here? I got to copy this. Back. Here we go. Not HTTPS yet. Okay, so Marketpath.site, don't have the trailing slash. And you can choose whether or not to shorten URLs if you want to. Test and review. So this actually created a tweet. So if I go out here, let's see what, oh, check out our latest and greatest blog post. So that showed up. Done editing. Zap is ready to turn on. And now it is on. So let's go to blogs, blog post. And I have a couple over here already ready to go. We're going to click new, journal name, add some authors just to add a tag. Let's see, summary. Very engaging copy, or otherwise known as lorem ipsum. You can go to lorem ipsum if you ever need just copy just for it. You can go here. They also have pirate ipsum and cupcake ipsum and all sorts of other weird things. All right, so now I'm going to publish this. I'm going to save and publish. It's ready to go. Published, going out. I should be able to see it on the blog here. Oh, well, I didn't pick a picture, but that's okay. Not necessary for this. Now, if I go here, so you see that that was my earlier one. Now this is this one. If I click the link, it takes me to this new blog post. And there you have it. So subsequent publishes will not retweet this because I selected the new requirement. Very good. All right, so my next integration is with Slack. And I don't know if you use Slack, but Slack is a great inter-office communications tool. It's similar to Microsoft Teams, similar to Google Hangouts, but it's so much more usable and user-friendly, and you can set up specific channels for various discussions. So what I'm going to do is when a blog is posted, I'm going to post it out to a Slack channel that we have here, and you can choose, like, it's not a bad idea. So everybody gets alerted to a new blog post, and then they can take that and they can tweet it out or you know, distribute it and help you promote the content. So oops, I forgot to name this. Blog post publish. This is for the automation demo site. Blog post publish. We're getting a lot of these in here, so I need to name it appropriately. To Twitter. So, all right, so we're going to do Slack, and I'm actually going to just reuse this Twitter one. I'm going to piggyback on it. Slack. Send channel message. I have to make sure we don't have anything inappropriate in channels before I do this. You never know. People get funny. Okay, so now I selected Slack, of course, and I chose the event I want to post to a channel, and I selected my account. And now I get to select the channel. I'm going to just do it in general because everybody's on that channel. New blog post. I'm going to give it a title. This title. I don't remember which one it is. And then I'm going to give it a, oh, not that, sorry. Wrong item. Want that domain again. Here. And then we're going to choose the URL. Send as a bot, sure. You can choose to send as somebody specific. This is just the Zapier bot, just a generic little thing. And there's several other options here, and we're not going to walk through those. So I'm going to hit continue. Test and continue. Oh, and now you can see over here this little test publish that got pushed out there. So let's go back to Marketpath CMS, and I'm going to close this. I'm going to click a new blog post. I have newer and cooler content to put in here. Sure, you're all going to love it, and you're going to come back and read it later. Or Ipsum is just, it just never gets old. Okay, so we have all that set. I'm not even going to do authors or tags right now. Save and publish. And, no, did I, hold the phone. So you have to turn it on. It's an important step. Make sure your Zap is turned on. Otherwise, you won't get anything happening there. Okay, so, well, I already used that content. I'm gonna duplicate this because I have to create it. It only happens on a new post, remember. So as soon as I publish the first time, it's no longer new. So our Zap is on. Yes, it is. Okay, very good. Come in here, save and publish. See if we got, oh, look at that. We have a new blog post, automation. Click on that. Apparently I have an extra slash in there that I need to fix. So that is the integration with Zapier. And it looks like I chose the wrong title tag. But that's an easy fix. Okay, so as the Zapier integration. Now this one is a little bit trickier. This is a sending an email campaign through MailChimp. So let's go back here, and I'm gonna let's see. I'm gonna delete this one. I'm gonna add. We could add all three of them if we wanted to. Action. Another action is going to be MailChimp, and I'm going to send a campaign. Campaign. Whoop. Find any items in your account. We may need to add a search. Add a search step. So this is number 3, campaign. Oh, you know what? I have to create the campaign first. New blog post. Title. Whoops. Let's choose the other title. You got to play around with these to get them. Okay, email subject, new blog post, title, preview text, title. From name is going to be Marketpath CMS. From address, marketing at marketpath.com. And then the to name is not in there because we're going to send it as a campaign. Now, email. Actually, can I? Yeah, no, we don't want to do that. Blog post. Get the URL again. Oh, see, it did have that extra in slash in there by default. Here's the URL. And I'm missing a required field. Where's my other required field? Oh, audience. There we go. Marketpath demo. I just have one audience in here, so that is all set. Okay. Now we go into here and we select the professional fields. We want to get, where is that? Blog post title. Actually, we need the, let's go with that one. Test and continue. So this one's a little bit trickier because there's a lot more. You're sending it to a whole bunch of people. So this is an example of when, if somebody you had a, subscribe to my blog, they would get an alert every time you published a new blog post, or the whole group would be. So we're going to turn this on. We're going to cross our fingers and hope it worked. I did just have it working yesterday. So, oh, whoops, wrong place. Let's go back here. Let's create a new blog post. That is turned on. Yep, it is turned on. If anything, it will at least create the new campaign, and then I can just send it. But nobody wants to do that. This is about automation, right? Summary, no image, and of course the wonderful lorem ipsum. Okay, we're going to publish. And we're going to go back here, close that, check it out, see if it worked. So we got 2 in here. So this is the big one. Oh no, it stopped. Something happened. Hit an error. Didn't like it. Cannot send this campaign because it's currently sent. So if we go into our campaigns here, you can see the campaign was created right here. Very simple email, has 4 recipients, but it wasn't sent. Forget exactly why it wasn't sent. I had one. I did this just yesterday. Created a campaign and I sent a campaign. Custom value for campaign ID. Maybe that's what it was. So back here. Custom value. Ah, here we go. That's what we want. ID, the ID of the campaign we just created. Let's get test. We're going to turn it on, and I'm going to do one more quick blog post, and then we'll be done with the examples. So thanks for bearing with me. Ooh. Summary. That's the other thing. I could have added the summary into that email campaign. So it would have the title, it would have a link, and then it would have the summary. So we're going to publish this. That one is on. Check out the task history here. Oh, okay. Well, I'm just going to stop. So that one failed. That was kind of dead, and I apologize for that, but I'm not going to sit here and try to fix it. So there's definitely some challenges as you get into this, trying to make sure everything is connected up. But I did show you 5 successful examples, so I'm 5 out of 6. That's decent, right? That's what, like a D or a C minus. Anyway, so all right, so let's just move on from there. And the next thing we're going to talk about what it takes in Marketpath CMS to get this. So basically, to get this functionality, you are going to need the Plus plan. That's where it comes with it, and it gives you up to basically gives you integration capabilities, the API users plus the atoms or the automatons or whatever you want to call them. It gives you those capabilities in CMS. So you need the Plus plan to be able to utilize it. As for Zapier, you can have a free account with Zapier. They allow you 5 zaps, but notice here it says 15-minute update time. So it takes a little bit of time to update its systems. They were pretty immediate for me when I was doing those updates, and I think my plan is not far from this one. It's actually an older plan, but it seems to go much faster. So you can play around with which one you have, which one you choose. You can definitely try it with the free account. What you don't get in the free account, I think, is a multi-step zap, so the ones where I added additional actions. So you only have 1 action per zap, and you cannot do conditionals or filters in those. It's pretty much straight up, here's something that happened, do this with it. So, but you have 5 zaps that you can do for free, which isn't a bad deal, at least to try it out. The other option that we have is that if you don't want to do this stuff yourself, Marketpath is here to help. We can help be sort of your automation advisor, if you will. We can help you set up the CMS side of things and the Zapier side. We can provide monitoring and management and ongoing support if things break down or they don't happen. And we also we can do managed options. So basically, we manage everything on your behalf. You never have to touch it. That's obviously there's additional fees for that, but we can set that up and take it on for you. So if you need anybody, a consultant to help you with that, just let us know. We're here to help. If you just need help walking through the general setup, then of course that's included in your Marketpath CMS plan. But if you need additional help, then just let us know beyond that. So other than that, I'm going to end a little bit early here, but I definitely appreciate everyone's time, and I appreciate you taking the opportunity to watch this automation. Hopefully it gives you some ideas, and good luck with your automation in the future. Thanks again.